Joining me now, Ron Christie, who is the president of Christie Strategies, former special assistant to President George W. Bush, Miguel Perez, syndicated columnist, professor at Lehman College, CNN contributor, and Hank Scheinkoff, Democratic strategist and CNN contributor. Thank you all for being here. Let's start with Ron Christie. We've got also in the midst of all of this, tomorrow, we've got a mayoral race in New York where the incumbent mayor is spending $100 million for a job for which he receives $1.
$1. It seems a little.
To his credit.
It seems a little excessive to me. I mean, here comes a man who said that he was only going to come in. He believed in term limits. He wanted to clean up the city of New York, and then he was going to move aside. As a Republican, I look at him, who used to be a Democrat, he used to be a Republican, who's now an independent, and I say, don't you believe anything of what you preach? Don't you believe in the value of the ballot box? Don't you believe that when you give your word that you should keep your word? You're doing all this report.
Mike Bloom, he's just a mayor. Come on, Ron.
He's just a mayor, but of one of the most powerful cities in the world, Lou, and I think that that's why the public...
It's not like we have an army.
There's a reason why people are so cynical about politicians, and I think Mike Bloomberg gives a lot of credence to those who say, once in power, these guys can't give it up.
What do you think, Miguel?
I like Mr. Bloomberg. I think New York needs a good leader like him, and I have no problem with him.
Even though he's spending $100 million for the seat.
It's his money, and he's only collecting $1, so what's the problem? It's his money.
And he overturned term limits to do it.
Well,
I mean, it's starting to feel a little funny, don't you think?
It's the.
I like Mike Bloomberg, too, but I'm just saying
if he gets elected, it will be the will of the people.
Yeah, all right. I'm feeling good now, Miguel. Hank Scheinkoff, I know you've got a view on this. Maybe you should divulge fully your view.
I can't. I have to disclose that I am a consultant to the Bloomberg re-election campaign, and proudly so.
And is he going to win tomorrow?
I'm not allowed to discuss anything. I'm serious. I can't discuss things with the media about it. It wouldn't be appropriate.
But I wanted to have the opportunity to ask you to
I like that. Thank you very much. I needed that.
All right, well, let me turn to then something a little closer to home. Jon Corzine, governor, New Jersey, in a tough fight with Chris Christie. I know he said Chris Christie. It's tight, I mean, to say the very least. In fact, the Quinnipiac poll has Chris Christie with a 2% lead. It's a statistical dead heat. What do you think is going to happen there?
Well, not good news for anybody. Why? Democrats have a built-in 8 percentage point edge in turnout and performance in New Jersey. That's number one. Number two, it'll be all about who turns out tomorrow at the polls. Frankly, why is it important? Obama would like to see this stay in the Democratic column. New Jersey is too close to this media market and a good place to raise a lot of money.
And a lot of money is being spent. Jon Corzine throwing a fortune at it. My email just smoking today with reports of Miguel, all sorts of activists being brought in to drive votes, allegations that the absentee ballots in New Jersey, it looks like the fix is in. Well, such a thing has never happened in New Jersey. I'm not suggesting.
As you know, Lou, I live in New Jersey, so I've been watching this very closely. And when I put my Spanish TV on in Jersey, I see President Obama speaking Spanish and endorsing Governor Corzine. So I see that the president has invested a lot of political capital in this particular race.
Is Obama speaking Spanish in that?
Yes, he is. At least a few words in Spanish endorsing
Which were the words?
Governor Corzine. I forget right now, actually.
Give us all three of them. But
well, no, I forget. I actually forget what the phrase he uses. But
si se puede?
Not quite. But the point is that he has invested a lot of political capital, and everybody seems to be placing, especially us in the media, placing all this emphasis on how this could be a referendum for Obama. So many things are going to happen between now and the midterm elections and the next presidential election. This is not going to mean a hill of beans what happens tomorrow.
So you think Corzine's going to lose?
I think Corzine.
You sound like you're managing.
Actually, I think Corzine is going to win. He's going to pull it off.
Well, one would think he would.
The Democrats do mobilize the crowds.
Well, look, I think this is a referendum on Jon Corzine. And when you look at Daggett being in the race, the third-party individual, and Chris Christie, you have about 50%, if not more, of the people who live in the state of New Jersey who want to fire their governor. I think the high taxes in New Jersey, I think the sense that government's out of control, they want a new person in Trenton. And Jon Corzine, he might eke it out, but he's extraordinarily unpopular. And the Republicans, I think, would be wise to say, this is what happens when big government goes amok. This is what the Obama administration is not the hope and change that they promise.
Do you think the Republican Party might be smart enough the next time, if this is what does transpire, to look to the independent vote and say, you know, we're not going to be a bunch of idiots anymore expecting simply an anti-democratic vote, because that game isn't going to be played by millions of Americans.
And I'm sure we'll talk about this as it relates to the Commonwealth of Virginia, but I think the Republicans were smart about that.
By the way, I accidentally raised my hand there. I apologize. We'll be back with more of Ron Christie. I'll also bring in Hank and Miguel. We'll be right back.
Since 1863, the dreams of millions have taken off with us, U.S. Bank. As our country has grown stronger, so have we. Today, we are one of America's strongest banks, focused on the future and eager to lend. So every dream, big or small, can keep growing stronger. Imagine what you can do when you have all of us serving you. U.S. Bank.
This is a close race, and we are on the verge of making history.
Do you think this country is ready to elect the first African-American president?
No.
We think McCain's in real trouble.
This is the most important election of our life.
We have to win.
Unbelievable. Whether it's a lost passport, waxing accident, or even an alien abduction, there are no Expedia fees to change or cancel any hotel reservation booked with us. Expedia.com.
CNN Next. Campbell Brown, a voice of reason. Brown's reporting is worth cheering. Campbell Brown, your 8 p.m. alternative. CNN Next.
I ask you, the citizens of New Jersey, hold me accountable.
John Corzine's New Jersey, $8.9 billion in new taxes, the highest taxes in the nation, the worst unemployment in the region, and Corzine has the worst environmental record.
Hold me accountable.
Chris Christie.
I'll be a very different kind of governor than John Corzine. We'll lower spending and cut the property taxes that are just killing our families. We can bring prosperity back to New Jersey, and I want to be the governor to lead it there.
Meryl Streep, Warren Buffett, Serena Williams, Bruce Springsteen, Adam Sandler, Kobe Bryant, Judd Apatow. The world's most interesting people are on Charlie Rose, and Charlie Rose is now on Bloomberg Television. Join Charlie each weeknight for riveting interviews, laugh-out-loud anecdotes, and unexpected revelations. Don't miss Charlie Rose, weeknights at 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern on Bloomberg Television.
Live election results with Jesse Ventura on Larry King Live, tomorrow night, 9 Eastern.
We're back with our panel. Ron, Virginia, who wins?
I think Bob McDonnell wins by double digits. I think the Republicans learned a lot from last year's election, cultivated a lot of the independent vote, made sure to talk about bread and butter issues, transportation, taxes, rather than getting involved in the social issues. 10 points.
And the poll shows also a 10-digit lead in Virginia, Miguel, for the lieutenant governor, the Republican lieutenant governor candidate, as well as the Republican attorney general candidate. This is going to be driving the Obama people nuts.
Again, I don't think it's a mandate. I don't think it's any indication.
Mandate? I'm asking you, it's got to be driving them nuts.
But how?
I don't believe in mandates, even.
But how? Again, the media, and I'm not saying it's you, Lou, but all day today, I've been hearing about how these 2 or 3 races tomorrow are going to be a referendum of the president. I don't see it. I don't see how. There are so many other issues that we're going to be voting on.
When you and Hank sitting there nodding on that, you guys make me think that he's in real trouble.
I don't think it's a referendum on the president at all, Lou, but what it is, it's a referendum on something else, okay? What this is really about is Obama figures the Republicans are dead, keep the foot on the throat, and they'll all die. So if somebody gets up from the ground, they're alive again. That's why New Jersey is important. That's why Virginia could be important, but it's not going to be. But New Jersey particularly. They want to kill the Republicans off, so in 2010, it's a lot easier to hold on to what they got.
Gentlemen, this is a referendum on Obama in Virginia, and I'll tell you why. High taxes, Obamacare with health care, people are very nervous. If you look at the ability that Obama had to come into the Commonwealth last year, do very well, not only with African Americans and younger voters, but with the independents. Now you have a lot of people who are very scared about the size of government, what Congress is doing, and Speaker Pelosi, by having the health care vote this upcoming Friday, I think it's going to portend very, very strongly for the Republicans. If we win in this state and she makes these blue dogs take the plank and take a very difficult vote, it will be a referendum on President Obama.
What do you think?
Not a referendum on President Obama. This is New Jersey's a referendum on John Corzine, okay? Virginia is a referendum on a mess. The other guy just didn't put a good campaign together. End of discussion.
And we have a congressional race in New York that may be a referendum on the Republican Party because they basically threw the one Republican under the bus. She switched.
Didn't she jump under the bus?
Well, maybe she jumped under the bus or whatever. However she got under the bus.
The Republican candidate in New York, if I may say, is fascinating because she had the endorsement of both Acorn and Newt Gingrich and still got it kind of messed up. I mean, that's kind of a broad spectrum approach you'd think would work. Ron, thank you very much. Miguel, thank you very much. Hank, thank you, sir. And coming up at the top of the hour, Campbell Brown. Campbell, tell us all about it.